Yeah, man, is how I want to explain this. Um, I don't know. I don't think a lot of us are really ready for what's about to happen. Um, and a lot of it starts with, uh, it's always been here. Recycled technology, basically history repeating or rhyming in a sense, right? Um, but from what we see, that's basically happening. Um, we've at one particular point in time have used, robotics and computer technologies and stuff like that to serve us for our own good. Throughout the course of the years, we've become lazy-minded um, and dependent on this technology, right? And in the future, it's basically going to be um, the basically the AI, artificial intelligence, policing us, and then we will basically be further descended down, and then it'll get to the point where we will be highly dependent on it. We may even merge um, with this technology and be more so transhuman in a sense. Um, as you see right there, we would be more so in that range of being a cyborg and dealing with transhumanism and stuff. Like the government has basically set the stage for a lot of this. First, you got to have people to get into it in the sense of, on the Democrat side, more of like the how I want to say it, not transhuman, but more so transgender in a sense, right? You got to open it up softly, and then over time you make it more so transhuman. And it's like the same thing with the jobs, right? You have the regular people, right, that have been working their warehouse jobs, their trucking jobs. You're gonna have them fighting against, thinking that the immigrants, or illegal immigrants, or however you want to look at it, looking at them as if they're the enemy in a sense, right? When really they're just somebody trying to come to this particular country and, try to make a better life. And uh, after they make money or whatever, they transfer it back into their currency of their own place, whether it's Mexico or some of the European countries or even some of the African countries, or depending on where they from, right? And then later on, while, right under the people's noses, while they're not paying attention and they're distracted, you're going to have the AI come in and just full-fledged just take the jobs. And then, considering the fact that most Americans now are struggling financially, most of us are not trying to have a lot of kids, right? So the future, even if there are certain jobs available, are going to go towards the other, how I want to explain it. It's going to go towards the other generation, well, the other countries, right? Because they are going to have younger people, or an abundance of it. Whether you're talking South America, India, China, and all these other places, they're basically just going to take the wealth. They're going to take the market share, and a lot of these corporations and companies, they're going to move out of the country. So it's like, just because Trump is doing what he's doing regarding, if it's tariffs and stuff like that, he's only in for a few years. Like, people don't understand. It ain't about choosing the left or the right, the red or the blue. No, it's understanding you could put that red and blue together. You get the purple, which is your highest state regarding your consciousness, as far as like the color wave when you're talking about the chakras, all that crap. But it's up to you to see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is far more disturbing than what's basically on the surface in these mainstream medias, what's on this old legacy, uh, these news channels and stuff like that. None of these platforms, for the most part, are for you. You have to do the research and look into people that are genuine and who don't really have anything to lose and who are not basically getting bought out and sold to push what they're pushing. So a lot of this stuff is going to start. It's going to be. It's going to start with. If you're talking about in the Bible, whatever. A lot of people are going to get these chips. It might not necessarily go to the head. It may just start from your hand, and from your hand, will allow you to be put in positions to buy and purchase goods or sell goods or stuff like that, unless you go way out in the middle of nowhere to where you could then like barter and trade. But then you have to kind of get away from the corporation sense of being fully condemned, and you're living into these downtown metropolitan areas, which basically traps you there forever. It's kind of like Night City with on site, Cyberpunk 2077. Either you're gonna live in that particular range, or you're gonna be out in the deserted lands and stuff like that, living that way. Or if you got the connections enough, you'll be lucky enough to be more so living like a hybrid like lifestyle, to where you'll be able to utilize the resources within the city ranges and bring them back and cipher them back out towards, the so-called uncharted areas and stuff like that, and be able to live on. But that's going to be a decision that the people are going to have to basically make. So most, not most, I don't want to say most because I'm not sure, but the people are basically going to be dealing with the false Christ, right? Maybe the Antichrist, right? They're going to be put in a position to where they're going to be dealing with the false Jesus Christ. The mediator. Now, this could be anything. It could be more than just the Neuralink, right? But the mediator is going to be the gatekeeper between man and the Most High, or God. So the mediator is going to be the tech. It's going to be the chip. Like I said before, you won't be able to buy or purchase goods unless you have that tech within you. And people are going to look at that as Christ. Now, if the society crashes or goes into a depressive state so bad to where people are forced to kind of get this tech to do, to basically try to work wonders for them, this is kind of like what's going to happen. And now you got to ask yourself, do you want to be in this world, or do you want to be like in this world but not be of it? And it's just a matter of, do you want to be a part of that mark of the beast system? Now, it does evolve over time. That's why I said they may put a chip within your hand and then to your head, or to your on the side of your temple. You might have a little shard that you can put into your head and take out or whatever, and they'll be able to read your mind, your thoughts. They'll be able to see what you're doing. They'll be able to shut you off if you are considered a threat or considered a felon or something like that. Or they'll basically shut your money off to where you won't be able to do anything. They'll basically have full control over you, right? And you're starting to see it. Now, you could read what you see right here, right? You flip that Tesla backwards. What does that say? All set. And it basically shows the differences. If you split them up, all you could translate that to L. Set is already self-explanatory. Now you wanted to say maybe this means that somebody's going to be playing God. God of what? A destroyer. Now, all set basically lets you know that they're basically ready. Everything is basically, they already got everything established and complete, or whatever you want to call it. They're just ready to like press that button, or maybe they're going to slowly do it in a sense to where, once again, people will not be able to see what's going on. And by the time they figure out what's going on, it's going to be literally too late. So if you're taking this chip, right, if you're getting that chip or whatever, right, you're going to be put in a position where you be a part of this, the hive mind system, right? You're going to be a part of the religion, because religion is it's harder to control people now. So you have to control people in a new upgraded form of religion. People don't understand religion is not just your main, your main groups like Christianity and Islam and, Judaism, Buddhism and stuff like that, right? Religion is literally, in a sense of the word, it could be used in a tribalism like sense. A lot of people who are in like MAGA, who represent the MAGA, or if you want to call it dark MAGA, that's basically a religion. It's like, but it's a cult. But but this system, it will be your guide or your God, and it's basically letting you know you will be a part of one step, one beat. You won't have a mind of your own. You will be fully condemned. You'll be you'll be connected to the basically the whole system regarding IoT and Wi-Fi and whatever other technology you could think of. And that 6G is just there for the sake of right now. Who knows what's going to be there in the future? So, yeah, it's all a game. You look and you see what's happening with a lot of this stuff. A lot of the contracts of this stuff is going over to SpaceX, Starlink, and all that stuff, where it was at first going to NASA. And we all know when the people start figuring it out, you have to move on and change the narrative a bit to continue to siphon money from the people. So you have to go to a more privatized, company. And when people find out this time, now it's all private. There's nothing you could do about it, literally. But yeah, you start to see all of this stuff right here. What do you call them? Basically, the turbines being turned on for these power plants in Memphis. Now, if you look up the history of Memphis, Memphis in America is considered down south. The history of Egypt, Lower Egypt, is literally south. In a sense, if you think about that, they used to say that Egypt was upside down or whatever, blah blah blah. But there used to be a Memphis in Egypt, where it used to be considered a highly technical place as well. So it's basically history kind of like repeating or rhyming in a sense, so it's a bunch of stuff that we could look into regarding all of this, that is going to basically change society. And And a lot of us aren't, ready for this type of stuff. We don't look into this stuff. They got us looking into the things that don't really matter. So it's just a bad thing waiting to happen, but it's already happened. It's just about how fast they want to exceed and excel in what they're trying to do. But yeah, man, the name of the game is to either play it or try to get out of it. The best way to get out of it is through death, but you don't want to cheat yourself. You want to, work on getting yourself to that best particular point while you're still here. You don't want to cheat the game. It ain't about cheating. So, yeah, man, that's all I really got. Peace.